If a screenwriter pitched this story in Hollywood, executives would send it back for being too implausible. One immigrant conquers professional bodybuilding, redefines the global action hero, and then rises to become governor of America's most powerful state. It sounds like fiction, yet it is the documented life of Arnold Schwarzenegger. To millions, he represents the ultimate American dream. Muscle, money, fame, and power forged from nothing. But monuments hide their cracks. Behind the grin and granite physique was a relentless drive born in trauma, sharpened by humiliation, and fueled by an almost frightening belief in destiny. He was not simply ambitious. He was obsessed. That obsession built an empire across sports, film, and politics. It also fractured his private world. To understand the phenomenon, we must step back from California sunshine and Hollywood premieres to the grey rubble of post-war Austria, where the fire first ignited. Born into ruins, Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger entered the world on July 30th, 1947, in Thal, a small village near Graz, Austria. The nation was still suffocating under the aftermath of World War II. Buildings were scarred, morale was shattered, and foreign troops occupied the land. In the Schwarzenegger home, survival eclipsed comfort. There was no indoor plumbing, no central heating, and few luxuries. Winters were brutal. Water was hauled from a well through snow and ice. But the physical cold was secondary to the emotional climate indoors. His father, Gustav, a local police chief and former Nazi Party member, ruled the household with discipline and severity. He carried the bitterness of a defeated soldier and imposed rigid expectations on his sons. Childhood for Arnold and his older brother Meinhard was less about play and more about performance. Approval was scarce, affection conditional. In that austere environment, resilience became necessity. Competition at the breakfast table. Gustav Schwarzenegger believed hardship forged strength. He pitted his sons against each other in daily athletic contests, push-ups, races, feats of endurance, praising the winner while ignoring the loser. Meinhard often triumphed, earning the title of favourite. Arnold felt overlooked, smaller in stature and esteem. The competitions extended beyond sport. They were tests of worth. Failure carried emotional punishment, and sometimes physical discipline. Years later, Arnold would speak of belts and pulled hair without self-pity, describing it as normal for the era. But normal does not mean harmless. The constant rivalry hardened him. Where Meinhard internalized the pressure and later spiraled into alcoholism and a tragic early death, Arnold detached emotionally. He began to see his family and village as temporary constraints rather than permanent identities. He felt different, alien even, inside his own home. That sense of dislocation planted the first seed of ambition. If he did not belong here, he would find somewhere he did. A dream. Lit by projector light. Salvation arrived not in church or classroom, but in a dark cinema in Graz. Newsreels and films depicted America as a place of skyscrapers, gleaming cars, confident smiles, and endless sunshine. Compared to Austria's grey austerity, it looked like another planet. America became more than a country. It became a promise. As a teenager, Arnold discovered a magazine featuring British bodybuilder Reg Park, a Mr. Universe who transitioned into movie stardom. The formula crystallized instantly. Build the body, win titles, go to America, conquer movies. It was no longer fantasy, but blueprint. His mother worried that his obsession with muscular physiques signaled illness. His father mocked him, suggesting he channel his strength into chopping wood. But ridicule only intensified the vision. The cinema had shown him a different life. He did not merely want to visit it. He intended to claim it. The plan was audacious, yet to Arnold it felt inevitable. The gym as escape tunnel. Arnold approached bodybuilding with religious fervor. He trained relentlessly, sometimes breaking into locked gyms on Sundays to continue lifting in freezing rooms where metal stuck to his hands. Each repetition felt like chiseling a key to unlock his future. At 18, mandatory military service threatened to interrupt his ascent. Instead, he integrated his obsession into barracks life, performing push-ups and curls between duties. When an opportunity arose to compete in the Junior Mr. Europe contest in Germany, he deserted his post without permission. Ill-equipped and inexperienced, he still won. The victory was intoxicating, but punishment followed. He spent a week in a military cell. For many, that confinement would have sparked doubt. For Arnold, it confirmed destiny. Rules, he realized, were negotiable obstacles. He would accept consequences, but never surrender ambition. The cell was not humiliation. It was proof he would risk comfort for triumph. The prison walls strengthened his resolve. Crossing the ocean to Destiny Europe soon felt too small. After stints in Munich and London refining his craft, Arnold fixed his gaze westward. In 1968, at 21, he landed in America with limited English and boundless certainty. Bodybuilding impresario Joe Weider saw potential in the towering Austrian and invited him to train in California. But the American stage was unforgiving. At a competition in Miami, Arnold was defeated by the smaller yet more defined Frank Zane. The loss stunned him. Size alone would not secure supremacy. Rather than retreat, he recalibrated. He relocated to Venice Beach and immersed himself in the culture of Gold's Gym, where iron clanged beneath the California sun. There, he embraced scientific precision, targeting weaknesses, refining diet, sculpting symmetry. Defeat had revealed vulnerability, but also opportunity. America would not hand him glory. He would engineer it. Failure, instead of eroding confidence, sharpened it into strategy. Psychological warfare in the golden era, the 1970s, marked bodybuilding's golden age, and Arnold stood at its center. Surrounded by legends like Franco Columbu and Dave Draper, he trained with intensity and charisma. Yet beneath camaraderie lay calculated competition. Arnold understood that victory required mental dominance as much as physical superiority. Before contests, he befriended rivals, offering compliments laced with subtle doubt. He would remark on a competitor's apparent fatigue or question their preparation, planting insecurities that bloomed on stage. His confidence bordered on theatrical arrogance, but it unsettled opponents. This mastery of mind games became as important as muscle mass. He wasn't content merely to win trophies, he sought psychological submission. By blending humor, charm, and intimidation, Arnold transformed bodybuilding into spectacle. Audiences sensed the drama. He was not just a participant, he was ringmaster. Titles accumulated, including multiple Mr. Olympia victories, confirming that mental strategy amplified physical dominance. Pumping iron and cultural breakthrough. In 1977, the documentary Pumping Iron brought this subculture to mainstream audiences. What was intended as a niche sports film became Arnold's cinematic audition. The camera adored his magnetism. Viewers watched him outmaneuver rivals like Lou Ferrigno with playful yet ruthless confidence. He spoke candidly about the euphoria of training, delivering provocative metaphors that shocked and fascinated. The film humanized bodybuilding while mythologizing Arnold. He appeared both larger than life and relatable, an immigrant chasing greatness with mischievous charm. The documentary's success elevated him beyond athlete into celebrity. By the mid-1970s, after securing multiple Olympia crowns, he had conquered his first empire. Yet he sensed stagnation. Bodybuilding offered limited horizons. The blueprint from his youth resurfaced. Movies were the next arena. If the gym had been his proving ground, Hollywood would be his battlefield. Building wealth before fame. Long before blockbuster paychecks, Arnold cultivated financial independence. Rejecting the stereotype of the naive muscle man, he studied business with intensity equal to his workouts. Alongside Franco Columbu, he launched a bricklaying company in California, marketing themselves as skilled European craftsmen. Profits funded investments in real estate during the inflationary 1970s. He also capitalized on fitness mail order programs, diversifying income streams. By his early 20s, he had accumulated substantial wealth, remarkable for a recent immigrant with limited English. Money for Arnold equaled autonomy. It meant he could pursue acting without desperation. It also reinforced his belief in self-determination. Success was not accidental. It was engineered through discipline and foresight. Financial stability became the foundation for risk-taking in Hollywood. He would not beg for roles. He would position himself strategically until the industry could no longer ignore him. Hollywood's doubt and defiance. When Arnold declared his intention to become the world's biggest movie star, agents laughed. His accent was thick, his surname unwieldy, his physique unconventional for an era favoring introspective actors. Some suggested he limit himself to villainous stereotypes. Yet mockery echoed earlier dismissals from Austria, and he had overcome those. He enrolled in acting classes, hired dialect coaches, and studied filmcraft with methodical patience. Early projects faltered, including the poorly received Hercules in New York, where his voice was dubbed. But incremental progress mattered. He recognized that what others saw as liabilities could become branding. His accent might distinguish him. His physique could redefine masculinity on screen. Rather than conforming to Hollywood norms, he aimed to reshape them. The industry guarded its gates tightly, but Arnold approached them not as a supplicant. He prepared to batter them down with persistence. Conan and the Rise of the Superhuman. In 1982, Conan the Barbarian marked his true breakthrough. The role required presence more than nuance, physical command, stoic intensity, mythic scale. Arnold embodied the warrior so convincingly that critics' skepticism softened before box office success. His accent lent the character exotic authenticity, transforming perceived weakness into strength. Conan's triumph signaled a shift in audience appetite. Spectacle and power were back. Arnold's screen persona merged ancient heroism with modern bravado. He had not yet perfected comedic timing or dramatic range, but he possessed something rarer: iconography. The sword, the silhouette, the silent glare. These imprinted on pop culture. Hollywood began recalculating its assumptions. Perhaps the monster could lead. Perhaps audiences craved the extraordinary. Arnold sensed momentum building, yet an even greater role loomed, one that would crystallize his image into immortality. Conclusion: the cost of total ambition. Arnold Schwarzenegger's life defies narrative simplicity. Athlete, actor, entrepreneur, governor, each identity could define a lifetime. Yet beneath triumph lay complexity. Family estrangements, personal scandals, health struggles, and relentless internal pressure. His ambition built empires, but exacted private costs. Still, the boy from Thule, who once felt alien in his own home, never relinquished belief in possibility. He weaponized adversity, converting ridicule into resolve. Whether hoisting barbells, delivering cinematic one-liners, or addressing voters, he pursued mastery with singular intensity. His story invites both admiration and scrutiny. What is the price of never accepting limits? Perhaps it is perpetual striving, an unquenchable fire that fuels greatness while threatening to consume peace. In the end, the legend is neither stone nor steel, but flesh and contradiction. Proof that audacity, for better or worse, can bend reality to its will.